Hey, what's up? It's your boy Rawk. Have you ever been in a pickle where you want to buy a video game but then you realise you're drowning in debt? Like, I had to take out a loan just to buy cereal. But come on, just because I'm in debt doesn't mean I don't want to play Mario Party 5. In fact, I do want to play Mario Party 5. I just realised I'm allergic to budget re-releases. Somebody call an exterminator. Let's take a minute to imagine a pitch meeting at Nintendo. One guy says, hey, we need a way to distinguish our budget GameCube re-releases from our full price releases. One rational employee thinks to himself that the price should be enough, while another slams his hand down and screams, fucking yellow! Over here in Europe, he said grey. Budget re-releases are undoubtedly a good thing for consumers, taking games that have been out for a while and permanently reducing their price to spur sales and convince people who were still on the fence to stop being bitches and buy Super Monkey Ball. So tell me, why would a video game company take this practice that should be nothing but good and f it up just a little bit to make me actually hate it? Nintendo Selects, formerly known as Player's Choice, is Nintendo's brand of budget re-releases, taking the hottest Nintendo games under the sun and cutting their price to around 20 Ohio doubloons. At first glance, that sounds like a steal, but most of these games are up to no good. But to figure out why things got so repulsive, let's jump back to when this branding was first introduced, with the SNES and Game Boy in 1996. This brand was initially used on games that had sold over 1 million copies. If you saw a Player's Choice title, you knew it was something you should ask your dad to buy. In the States, SNES games in the Player's Choice line were tolerable in my opinion. Some light gold trimming on the box art here and there and a Player's Choice emblem. This is okay. Every now and then they'd get a Player's Choice Link to the Past, but for the most part, my skin wouldn't crawl if I owned a Player's Choice release instead of a standard one. There was also an emblem on the cartridge, which is a little bit harder to swallow, but it's a whole lot better than what we got. Over here in Europe, we didn't get Player's Choice. We got Super Classics. And they were red all over and had a gold Mario slapped on them. Cool. At the very least, the cartridges didn't have any indication of this being a re-release. So if you're in the market to buy a loose copy of Super Mario Kart, you don't have anything to worry about. It's actually pretty cool to see these variants of these games. I see boxed SNES games so infrequently that seeing a rarer variant is weirdly endearing. Even though I should be repulsed by them. Damn it, am I horny or not? In the States, Game Boy's Player's Choice was pretty much the same as the Super Nintendo's. But weirdly, I can't find anything in the form of concrete evidence that Game Boy Player's Choice even existed in PAL regions. Nintendo 64 Player's Choice games were where the Migraine Factory opened its doors for business. In the States, they were fine. I don't like them, but they were fine. But over here in the UK, the boxes were caked in silver, and Jesus Christ, most of my showers now consist of me asking why. This looks horrible. And as if the steel coating wasn't enough to catch your eye, it feels the need to spit this medallion in the corner. Honey, we know you're unique, but maybe shut the hell up for once and let me think. And for the rest of the existence of the Player's Choice branding, pissing grey all over the box art has been standard procedure over here in Europe, and it serves one sole purpose: to piss me off. Nintendo GameCube Player's Choice. This is hideous. So we have an entirely silver box. Ew. The spine is also silver and gets rid of the distinguishing GameCube header. Ew. The Player's Choice text at the top is fucking yellow on a bright grey background, which is both miserable beyond belief and impractical. Ew. And worst of all, it crops the artwork slightly. You've gone too far now! Much like with the Game Boy, I cannot find any concrete evidence of Player's Choice for the GBA over here. So good for me, I can be pissed about one less thing. Now over in the States, Player's Choice for GameCube was definitely a lot more tame. It was far from great, but it was far from this abomination. A yellow banner at the top of the box art, and the GameCube header on the spine was also yellow. Good God, why does it have to be this way? They continued this branding on the GBA in the States, but for that system, it's slightly more acceptable considering most people would just throw out their GBA boxes, because they were cardboard and they smelled funny. But on the GameCube, these titles would forever be staining your collection. It would take a really nice looking display and just fucking ruin it! And that's my biggest problem with these budget re-releases. Sure, they're pro-consumer and good for the customers, but they're also the most recent and readily available prints of these games, and they look disgusting! If you're a game collector, it's very likely that you'll stumble across a Player's Choice version of a game before a standard release, and if you're anything like me, you'll just fucking buy both! I am a bitch when it comes to consistency, so to see Super Smash Bros. Melee being ass grey while the rest of my collection wasn't, made it hard for me to sleep at night. So when I saw a bog standard copy of Melee at a shop I was in, I wasted my money. I fully intended on selling this copy, but these damn things are cursed. Nobody wants them. And with Mario Party 5, I just haven't been able to find a standard copy at a reasonable price. And yet I spent £115 on Mario Party 7! Gah! Just look at Player's Choice Luigi's Mansion, man. This is upsetting. Who the hell wants to put up with this? Some people actually try to go for full sets of these releases, and honestly, good for them. My biggest problem with these things is the inconsistency they cause in my collection. But if you make that inconsistency consistent, then I might not have to file a restraining order after all. But on the whole, get these things the hell away from me.
Now on the DS, Nintendo dabbled in the let's not even bother discounting our games market, and I think they began to realise Player's Choice wasn't really doing them any favours. So they introduced Nintendo Selects instead. They don't just want you dead, they want to dance on your grave.
Nintendo Selects. The same idea as Player's Choice, but this time on the Wii, 3DS, and Wii U. The branding across these consoles was entirely consistent. They had a big red border on the front of the box and a big-ass Nintendo Selects logo in the corner. Now, many people think this is more tolerable than the Player's Choice of the past, but I beg to fucking differ! On the Wii and 3DS, the red contrasts the white horribly enough, but on the Wii U, good fuck, this is putrid! Thankfully, I don't own any Nintendo Selects titles on the Wii or Wii U, but my 3DS collection is not so lucky. In about 2014, 2015 or so, my entire 3DS collection was stolen, and when trying to rebuy them all, the Nintendo Selects price tag was a lot more appealing than full price. And again, even if I had the money to ensure I could avoid the Nintendo Selects releases, they were the most readily available prints, so in most cases, I didn't have a great deal of choice. I don't have a huge amount of Nintendo Selects titles. One of them became possessed, so I hit it with a baseball bat, but I still have a few. And it still hurts me to my core! Most of the Nintendo Selects titles have a small emblem on the spine, which is a lot more tolerable than anything Player's Choice had to offer. But did you notice that I said most? Look at this. Look at this. The inconsistency just got more inconsistent. I think I'm gonna puke. Why does Mario and Luigi Dream Team Bros have the medallion? And almost more importantly, why do Mario Party Island Tour and Yoshi's New Island not have it?
Oh my god, I can't stand this. Is it really that hard to reduce the price of your games without having them jump off the shelf and scream, hey, I cost less than Integrity now? Do you really have that little faith in your consumer that you just have to scream about a price reduction? Did Nintendo not think their fans are capable of noticing, oh sweet, Smash Melee is a third of the price now? Are we not capable of reading a fucking price tag and saying, oh, this game's cheaper than the other games? Good for me! And if anything, looking at how much these games stick out compared to the rest of the library, why would any consumer who's too dumb to read a price tag think, wow, I should buy this? You're trying to tell me that consumers had a choice between Chibi Robo and this version of Mario Party 5, and this sold more. Okay! And speaking of the GameCube, that system didn't do all too well sales-wise, so Nintendo lowered the threshold of titles being eligible for a Player's Choice release. They no longer had to sell 1 million copies, they only had to sell 250,000. And that is how we end up with a chicken fucking little Player's Choice release. God